أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال علمها عند ربي في كتاب لا يضل ربي ولا ينسى الذي جعل لكم الأرض مهدا وسلك لكم فيها سبلا وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به أزواجا من نبات شتى كلوا وارعوا أنعامكم إن في ذلك لآيات لأولي النهى منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. صدق الله العظيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Respected elders and brothers, Alhamdulillah, every Sunday we try to sit down for a couple of minutes and talk about the Quran and the message of the verses of the Quran. Alhamdulillah, we are doing the Tafsir of Surah Taha, and we reached up to verse number 51. And we know, if you're following the story, that Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, with his brother, along with his brother, he went back to Misr to encounter Fir'aun. And some might say, well, how come he's going back to Misr? He was doing fine in Madian. He had a wife, and perhaps maybe he was going to build a family. He was already settled there. Why is he going back to Misr? So, because on the way to Misr, that's when he received wahi. So it's not like, oh, he got the command before going to Misr and then he went to Misr. No, while he was going to Misr, then he got the command. So scholars, when they looked really into this, they came up with a couple of possibilities. One is that, everybody has love for their homeland, no matter where they go, even if it's an elite society they live luxuriously and affluently in a new place. It's still never the same as your own homeland and your home country. It will never be the same. And that's why you will see that, mashallah, many of us who come from our origins and roots are from other countries, we always stay in touch with them, right? No matter how much improvements we make in our lives in the new country, we still have longing for our own land. We want to go back and want to visit the people and our childhood memories, etc., etc. So similarly, Musa salam, he was in Madian, and after 10 years, a long time, he wanted to go back. Perhaps he thought that maybe Fir'aun forgot all this stuff, or maybe there's a new leader over there who's not going to hold him accountable, and people have moved on. That's one thing. And another thing is that he hasn't seen his family and parents, specifically his mother. And so, he wants to provide some service to his mother, especially in her old age, right? So when parents reach old age, we should give extra care and attention and try to be there to attend to their services as much as possible, especially when they reach old age. Because we always teach our children that, hey, you have to listen to your parents, listen to your father and mother, etc., etc. But in the Quran, Allah said, إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا. That when your parents reach old age, that's the important part, when they reach old age. And when our parents reach old age, are we still young people or are we elderly? We're elderly, right? So it's not only for the children to be reminded about their parents, but also, most importantly, people who are older, because that's when parents need them the most. And obviously, there are some conflict of interest and cognitive dissonance a person has to go through. He has his own family, his own wife, his own kids, and how is he supposed to take care of both his own family and his growing parents? So that's where we kind of really get tested about our obedience to our parents. And that's what Allah keeps on reminding us about our parents. So anyhow, Musa salam went back to Misr to serve his mother, you can say one of the reasons was that. So anyhow, he comes in the court of Fir'aun with his brother, and Fir'aun realizes that this is Fir'aun. You're coming back. You thought you left and we don't know anything about you. Now you're back. We knew you were going to come back. So Fir'aun reminds him that, hey, you're the one that killed that guy. What are you doing here? So Musa salam, he is, of course, obeying Allah Azza wa Jal, and the instruction he was given to just convey to Fir'aun. And whatever he does after that, that's upon him. So now Musa comes and tells Fir'aun and everybody and the whole assembly there that this is the new message and this is the message I come with, that Fir'aun is not your God, even though he claims to be your God. And everything else you worship and all the shirk and kufr you do, you must let go of all of that stuff. And so Fir'aun sees there's going to be obvious problems here, that if everyone starts obeying and believing in the faith of Musa and what he's calling to. And what's the obvious problem? That his power and his authority is going to diminish and dwindle and is going to grow lesser and lesser. His influence on people is going to grow lesser and lesser and smaller because he is the king, right? He claims to be the leader and the king. And on top of that, he claims to be the divine supreme being as well. Like he's your leader and he's your God. So imagine the power he had on people. Just as a king, people had enough power over their subjects, right? They had to obey them, etc., etc. But imagine taking that to the next level. He claims to be a God too. So imagine the power and control he will have over his people. So now when Musa salam comes and says that, hey, your God is actually another being, not Fir'aun. So you can say like half of the influence of Fir'aun was in jeopardy. He was risking losing his influence over his subjects by half. So of course he's going to object. Of course he's going to find problems in the calling and the message that Musa is coming with, right? And this is a human psychology that we see even in this day and age. And you can, find many examples in our current day and age of what leaders do to stay in power, right? They will manipulate data and manipulate the truth in whatever way they can just to hold on to their power. So that was the story with Fir'aun. He's obviously going to object to what Musa was saying. So he tried to be smart. One of the things he was doing to Musa is that, let me make this guy make a mistake. Let me, instead of just telling and convincing people that, hey, don't listen to him, let me just make him insult. One of the way I can discourage people from obeying him is let Musa insult his people and their forefathers and all the people that passed away. So what did Fir'aun ask Musa? He said, قَالَ فَمَا بَالُ الْقُرُونِ الْأُولَى. What about the people of the previous nation, our ancestors, our forefathers, etc.? Everybody listening in the assembly, listen to what he has to say about your forefathers. Because if Musa is saying that this is the new faith and this is what everybody is supposed to believe in, then all the people that came before us, what? They didn't believe in your message, so where are they going to be? They're going to be in hell? So Fir'aun is actually trying to make Musa say this, right? And so Musa obviously he's not going to fall into this trap. He's a grown man, and now he's inspired by wahy in revelation, direct communication with Allah. So he's not going to fall into this trap. So he gives a generic answer where he doesn't insult the forefathers of the people that are listening. So he says honestly that قال علمها عند ربي في كتاب. He said the knowledge of that is with my Lord in a book, يعني لوح محفوظ. لا يضل ربي ولا ينسى. And whatever my Allah does, my Lord does, he will not make a mistake. He will not or he will not forget what is the right thing. So if someone was supposed to be in paradise, they will be in paradise, and if someone's supposed to be in other place, they will be in other place. That is not my place to decide, and that is not my place to talk. All right. لا يضل ربي ولا ينسى. So instead of going farther into answering this question and falling for the question that Fir'aun asked him, he actually changes the topic to something greater, which is about the qudra of Allah Azza wa Jal, and the rububiyyah of Allah Azza wa Jal, and the ni'mah of Allah Azza wa Jal upon everyone that was there. And that's a good way to give da'wah. Like, don't insult people, don't be rude to people. Sometimes what might happen is that, what do you call this? That, people become practicing, mashallah, it's good. But, everyone else that are in their orbit and their periphery that's not so practicing, they might start becoming rude to them. Or, they might behave, they're sometimes they have good intentions. Like, they want to be straight up. They don't want to cut around the bush, etc., beat around the bush. But what ends up happening is that without realizing, they end up being rude to people. So that's definitely something we should avoid. And no matter how practicing we become, that we don't be rude to people and end up like driving them away from faith. Right. So instead of being harsh and like insulting people just because you want to get to the truth, you can get to the truth, but not abruptly. You don't have to be abrupt. You can use hikmah. Call to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal with wisdom and maw'idah hasana, good advice. Right? So don't be too aggressive. So what does he say? He said, الذي جعل لكم الأرض مهدا وسلك لكم فيها سبلا وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به أزواج من نبات شتى. So instead of insulting anybody, let's talk about how great Allah Azza wa Jal is. Look, He had made for you, He made the earth a mahdan for you, a place of rest, a bed for you. It's not shaking all the time. If you go to another planet like Jupiter or Saturn or whatever it might be, you have like the raining rocks, and the earth is shaking all the time. There's a hurricane and violent winds and volcanoes all the time. That's not happening on earth, alhamdulillah, at least in most places, right? It's a place for you to rest. Imagine you go home at night tonight and you try to go to sleep on your mattress and your mattress starts shaking. One side is uneven, one side is higher, one side is lower. All the support that you have on your mattress, the wood pieces that are there, the panels, one of them breaks, and you'll see there's a misbalance on the mattress. You won't be able to have a good night's sleep, right? Maybe if you eventually fall asleep, you're gonna wake up with a pain on your neck or your shoulder, etc., etc. So look at Earth. Allah Azza wa Jalla has made it for you, mahdan. It's so calm, and you can it's resting, right? Because of the, obviously another verse Allah said that He made the mountains into pegs. He uses the mountains to hold the tectonic plates together. Otherwise, they would be just moving and shaking all the time. So remember that. Remember, Allah is the one that's doing this to you. Why are you calling Fir'aun as your God? Even though he claims to be God, open your eyes. Fir'aun is not your God. Is he the one doing this? Is he the one that has any control over the land, and that how the land is so smooth and it's not shaking? Fir'aun has any power over that? So why are you worshiping him? Indirectly, that's the message he's trying to give to them and reinforce. That's the message, right? Indirectly. And what? وَأَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً. And he brings down water for you from the sky. Why is that so important? Well, right now when rain comes, we don't really think about it. Oh, it's rain. We might be like, oh, I gotta, take an umbrella tomorrow, or it's gonna be tough tomorrow, or whatever it might be. We don't really see anything beyond that. But actually, the people who grow our food, the farmers, they need that water. If they don't get that water, our supermarket is gonna go empty. So Musa is reminding them Allah is the one that brings down water for you from the sky. It's not Fir'aun. Does he have any control over what's going to happen tomorrow in the weather? So why are you worshiping him? Why are you saying that he is the God? Right? فَأَخْرَجْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِّن نَبَاتٍ شَتَّى. Allah says, we take out with that rain from the sky, أَزْوَاجًا مِّن نَبَاتٍ شَتَّى, all different types of plants and vegetations, all different types of fruits and the nutrients that you get from plants, right? That's where all the nutrients and vitamins are found. You get that from your plants. So the first thing Allah mentions is plants, right? Interestingly, that's what's actually more healthy for us, greens and vegetation, etc., etc. We shouldn't have too much of meat and all that kind of stuff. Meat and stuff at one time, it was like a delicacy. It was something special. You have like maybe every 2-3 weeks or once a month, or like an occasion, etc., right? But nowadays we have meat every meal. Without meat, we can't even like really have enjoy our meal without the meat. But it was supposed to be mostly plants and vegetation, etc. And once in a while we're supposed to have meat. But anyhow, so from that water, there's all different types of plants and vegetation, all different kinds of fruits. All of these things come from that water. Without that water, nothing would exist. No humans, no vegetation, no plants, no nothing, right? And even if we try to make things synthetically, like human beings in labs and stuff, it still never tastes the same, right? كلوا وارعوا أنعامكم إن في ذلك لآيات لأولي النهى. Kulu, you eat, all of you eat from the plants, and there are some plants that you can eat, and some plants that you won't be able to eat. There's some plants that are meant for your animals. So وارعوا أنعامكم, feed and give it to your animals. إن في ذلك لآيات لأولي النهى. Indeed, in that there are signs for people of judgment. Nuha, لأولي النهى. And nahi actually literally means to forbid something, right? Al-amru bil ma'ruf wa nahyu anil munkar. Nahi means to forbid something. So why this is called people of like forbiddance? Actually, what it means is that you have something in you that forbids you from doing wrong and doing evil. So that's why it's called li'ulil nuha. And even the Prophet has said in hadith that لِيَلِنِي مِنْكُمْ أُولُو الْأَحْلَامِ وَالنُّهَى. In the saf of salah, the people who are nuha, ulil nuha, people who have understanding and sound judgment, they should be closest in the first saf, etc., etc. Because if the imam breaks his salah for some reason, there has to be someone behind who's able to lead the congregation. So anyhow, that's just the reason or the naming behind the ulil nuha. And then again, we're talking about the land, right? The earth. So we're going back to that earth again, right? All of these things, Musa is reminding them about the qudra of Allah Azza wa Jal, and kind of telling them that, hey, go back to Allah, not to Fir'aun. So منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. Allah says, from it we created you. From the earth we created you. Our first model Allah created for Adam as salam is from the clay and dirt. Right? منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم, and in it we will return you. After you die, that's where we all end up, in the earth. That's why it's a maw'idah. It's very effective when we pass by graves and we just stop for a couple of minutes and just reflect and think about the thousands of millions of people who inhabited this earth, but all of them are gone. They are underneath that land now. They're under the earth, right? Ajib. How many people are on the surface of this earth now, and how many people are under this earth, right? You will see that most people are gone. It's just everybody actually has a timer on their head. Everybody's in line. We're all in this one line, right? To transition, go into the next world, go under the earth. And whenever our time comes, we go. And this is just a transitioning period in this world, right? Whoever came, they thought that, that this is exclusively for me, and this is my time in this world, and so it's good to kind of sometimes get into this topic and think about it. Maybe follow a janaza, go and follow janaza to the cemetery and see the whole process. It will have a lot of effect in our spirituality. So منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. Allah said that we created you from that, we will return you in it, and then from that we will resurrect you, bring you back one day. وَلَقَدْ أَرَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا كُلَّهَا فَكَذَّبَ وَأَبَى. So after this da'wah, small little da'wah that Musa gave to his people, he took that chance to give da'wah. Allah Azza wa Jal comes back and talks about Fir'aun. وَلَقَدْ أَرَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا كُلَّهَا فَكَذَّبُوا وَأَبَى. That, this is not just the one sign that we gave to Fir'aun, this admonition, this wa'az, this nasiha that Musa gave to Fir'aun. This wasn't the only thing. We gave Fir'aun all the signs that he needed. We made it very obvious in front of his eyes. But he rejected all of the signs. And he was given, Allah gave Musa 9 clear signs. The blood and the lice and the locusts and all of those things, they're all clear signs. And maybe in the back of his head, he knew that this is from Allah, right? And that is why when he was drowning and when he was dying, then he finally said that I believe in the Lord of Musa and Harun. But at that time, it's too late. You're supposed to have faith in Allah before you start seeing the events of the unseen. So Allah said that we gave him all the signs that he needed to see, but he rejected all of them and he turned away. So instead of accepting the message Musa came with, he starts accusing him of stuff. And that's just this is what human psychology does, right? When you don't want to accept the truth and face the facts, instead of accepting things, you gotta accuse them back. You gotta accuse your opponent back of stuff. And if you try to look around you in our current society and our leaders and politics, you will see that when they're trying to run away from the truth and facts, you gotta accuse your opponent. Oh, it's fraud, and he did this and he did that, and conspiracy and this and that. So instead of him accepting the truth, he says, أَجِئْتَنَا لِتُخْرِجَنَا مِنْ أَرْضِنَا بِسِحْرِكَ يَا مُوسَى. Musa, come on, we all know why you're doing this. You came to us because you want to take all of us out of our land with your magic, right? You want to dupe us into becoming your subjects and your followers so that you can have power and authority over us. And you have some sort of magic and you're just going to try to fool everybody here. And so Fir'aun says, okay, you know what? You got magic, no problem. We're going to bring more magic. You have nothing on us. I have the best magicians. فَلَنَأْتِيَنَّكَ بِسِحْرٍ مِثْلِهِ. We're going to bring you magic as well. And this was trending at the time of Musa salam. Magic was trending. And whoever knew the best type of magic, they had demand. They were hired by Fir'aun. So every generation has the thing that is in demand. So right now, maybe something like tech and the IT industry, that's in demand. That's something new. That's the hot topic that everybody wants to pursue and go into because it has demand. So Fir'aun said, you know what? No problem. I'm going to bring you the best magicians you've never seen in your life. You bring your magic, I bring my magic. فَجَعَلْ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكَ مَوْعِدًا لَا نُخْلِفُهُ نَحْنُ وَلَا أَنْتَ مَكَانًا سُوًى. So make an appointment between us, a maw'id. We're going to meet there, you're going to come, and we're going to do a standoff and show off. قَالَ مَوْعِدُكُمْ يَوْمُ الزِّينَةِ وَأَنْ يُحْشَرَ النَّاسُ ضُحًى. So Musa alayhi salam said that, all right, no problem, we'll meet one day. Yawm Zina, the day of beauty or day of festival or decoration or whatever. It was probably a day that they celebrated, a day of festival. Everybody came together, and let that be our day, so that everybody, we don't have to make a separate occasion. We don't have to do a separate arrangement for this. Everybody will come and it'll be the perfect time to do this. And and spread the word that in mid-morning everybody should come to this place and we're going to have a standoff. Okay? So فَتَوَلَّى فِرْعَوْنُ فَجَمَعَ كَيْدَهُ ثُمَّ أَتَى. So Fir'aun turned and he went to his magician and he said, let's go, we're going to do this. And we're going to show this guy. Once and for all, we're going to take him out of here. فَجَمَعَ كَيْدَهُ, he put together all his plans and then he came that day. قَالَ لَهُمْ مُوسَى. So before even starting, Musa warns them that, hey, listen, I know that maybe we had some unpleasant altercations and we didn't start on the right foot. But before this day begins, I just want to tell you that don't make up accusations against Allah Azza wa Jalla.
the first thing you did is that you denied Allah Azza wa Jalla. And now on top of that, you're trying to prove and you're just trying to grow in your stubbornness and say that, all these things you want to say about Allah Azza wa Jalla. So you just warned them, وَيْلَكُمْ لَا تَفْتَرُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبٍ. Come on, be careful. Woe to you. Don't make up lie against Allah Azza wa Jalla. فَيُسْحِتَكُمْ بِعَذَابٍ. Because if you do, then Allah will he will obliterate, he will take you out, he will wipe you out with the punishment. And it's easy for Allah Azza wa Jalla. And وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنِ افترى. And whoever ever tried to make up something against Allah Azza wa Jalla, make up lie against Allah Azza wa Jalla, he has always lost. He was never able to be successful. So when the magicians they heard this, that's something so simple yet powerful. Sometimes we might have people who speak very eloquently and they're able to make an argument and they talk very well and they just have a way around talking. But sometimes people will say something very simple, but it will have such a powerful impact on the listeners. So Musa came clean and he's not trying to be all fancy with his words. He just told them straight that, hey man, be careful. Don't make up lies against Allah. Whoever makes up lies against Allah, he was never successful. So these people, the magicians, are like, hey man, maybe we should talk about this. Harallah. فَتَنَازَعُوا أَمْرَهُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ وَأَسَرُّوا النَّجْوَى. So they started having arguments with one another. And they started talking to each other secretly that, hey, what if he's right? This guy seemed like a legit, sincere guy. Maybe we shouldn't go overboard with this and just know our limit and just stop here and just say, we quit and you win. But everybody was here already and they can't back out right now. It will be a blow to the ego of Fir'aun and all his magicians. So they said, you know what, we have to go through with this. قالوا إن هذان ساحران يريدان أن يخرجاكم من أرضكم بسحرهما ويذهبا بطريقتكم المثلى. So now they came with a different tactic. So they're telling everybody, announcement that, hey, everybody who gathered here, and the introduction today is that these two, you see, Musa and Harun, they just came here because they want to take you out of your land with their magic, with their sorcery, with their manipulation. They just want to become the leaders in this land. And you guys are elite society, a progressive society, educated society. He just wants to come and he's jealous and he wants to take away this lifestyle that you have. So this is the introduction they gave of him to everybody that was there that day. So all of you come together, bring all of the skills that you have, all your ropes and your sticks and all the instruments of magic, and then come in line. Everybody come in line, in formation. Because when you come in formation and there's discipline and etc., it has more influence on the hearts of people. You see army, right? Those who are in the army, the way they move, the way they march, that orchestrated perfectly, symmetrical lines and the way they move and everything is in just harmony and balance. It has a bigger effect on the people that are watching. So he says, come in line and look good. وَقَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْيَوْمَ مَنِ اسْتَعْلَى. And whoever wins today, he's going to be successful. He's going to have, obviously, everybody's going to see this and he's going to make a name for himself. And you never know, Fir'aun is probably going to give that guy a promotion or some sort of financial benefit. So be careful. Don't make a mistake here. A lot of things are at stake. قالوا يا موسى إما أن تلقي وإما أن نكون أول من ألقى. So they said, oh Musa, do you want to go first or should we go first? You want to go first or should we go? So they're trying to kind of deflate and bring down the confidence of Musa a.s. This is kind of called trash talking. You go to the park and you want to play a game with some people, and you will see that sometimes right from the beginning they talk very big. Hey, you want to go first? You go first. Come on, I know I'm going to win this. I'll let you go first. This is just to build their confidence and bring down your confidence. So they said that, oh, you want to go first or you go first? I mean, this is easy, piece of cake. It's a walk in the park for us. So Musa said, no, you guys go. قال بل ألقوا, you go. فإذا حبالهم وعصيهم يخيل إليه من سحرهم أنها تسعى. So once they went, all of a sudden, their ropes and their sticks, because of the illusion that they presented in front of people, it looked like their ropes was moving, slithering like a snake, right? فأوجس في نفسه خيفة موسى. So Musa alayhi salam, seeing this, he became a little worried and he became a little scared. It could either be that as a human being, you saw this and you got scared. Nowadays they have those, what do you call it, VR, virtual reality goggles you put on your eyes, even though it's not real and it's not real. But as a human being, you get scared and you see people that wear VR and how they react to it sometimes. They know it's not real, but they still scared. So it's just something in human nature. And some other scholars say that the reason why he was scared is not for himself, but he was scared for the audience. That the audience are watching this and they're going to think that this is real. And they might end up believing in this stuff. And they just reject the message Musa comes with. So Allah Azza wa Jalla reassured and gave him confidence again. قُلْنَا لَا تَخَفْ Musa, don't worry. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْأَعْلَى. Indeed, today you are going to be the one who wins. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what people are what effect is gonna have on people, etc. Okay, and then inshallah we'll continue from here next week. ألقما في يمينك, where it's the turn of Musa to go. So their turn went. They finished their turn. They threw out their stick and etc. And it became a snake. And now he's scared. What happens next? So inshallah we'll continue from here next week. Allah Azza wa Jal write this in all of our mizan of hasanat, scale of good deeds. And Allah Azza wa Jal give us all the tawfiq to open up the Quran every single day and just maybe one verse, couple of verses, one page, go over the meaning of the Quran and just read it as only, right? If you have any tafsir we like, there are different easy tafsir that we can find and just read the meanings of the Quran, inshallah ta'ala. Allah Azza wa Jal give me the tawfiq and all of us the tawfiq to act upon this. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه غفور